Today, we're heading out to Sherman, Texas to learn the truth behind eggs. We dive deep into some of the most debated topics with the goal to answer all the questions we have about the egg industry. Does egg yolk color matter? What does pasture-raised, cage-free, or free-range mean? Why do eggs have to be refrigerated? Follow along today as we interview Chuck, a passionate egg farmer focused on doing the right thing for humans, the animals, and the earth. Now let's go discover the answers to all the questions we're asking about eggs.
What's up, guys? We are on our way to check out eggs. We are heading to Sherman, Texas, and we are going to figure everything we've ever want to know about eggs. I'm really excited. I have so many questions. I'm gonna get them all answered for you. Let me know in the comments what other foods you want to do at the end of this video, because I am going to get to the bottom of every single food in the food industry.
There's literally a guard goat instead of a dog. That is awesome.
Before officially we dive into it, Chuck, could you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Sure. We produce pasture-raised eggs, hens that are truly raised on pasture 365 days a year. So we're gonna go through our egg laying operation, show you everything about that. I was raised on a more conventional farm in Western New York. We did a big restart and we started this farm from scratch that we call Prairie Farmstead, based here in Sherman, Texas. We started that in late 2017. We wanted to produce the most nutrient-dense, most organic type meats and eggs we could for our diets, but also for our kids.
So I'm excited to dive into all of that today, ask Chuck a lot of questions. Let's get back, let's go check out these eggs, check out the chickens. Let's go get started.
Sounds good.
Compare this to your conventional white egg we get at Walmart or any store. Compare that to the pasture raised. Why is this so much better for the eggs as far as nutrition wise, as far as even just health of the hen? So explain all that.
So there's lots of different tiers of eggs. At the bottom of the list, the lowest cost egg to produce in the United States is a hen that is in a barn its whole life and is in a cage its whole life. And in that cage, she has room to sleep and lay an egg, and the feed is brought to her and the egg is taken away from her.
Are these hens moving at all?
No,
I've seen videos of them.
They're basically in a small cage so that the feed can come to them and the egg can go away. Manure goes out one way, eggs come out another way. Very mechanized. Can dial it right in to be the most efficient.
How many eggs can we produce? Let's get these things in and out.
What you might see on cartons is free range. Free range, often people's mind goes to something like this where the hen has free range of a farm. Well, that's not the case. In the United States, a free range egg means that they're not in the cages. So they're in a barn, they have free range of the barn.
So it's almost a marketing ploy.
It's a marketing ploy.
Free range makes the consumer feel like the chickens are treated well. They can roam wherever they want, but I've seen some images where they're
similar number of chickens in a similar size barn, no cage.
Massive cage, essentially, is what
so
it is.
Maybe a little better lifestyle for the hen, slightly less efficient when you come to industrialization. We also have pasture raised. They allow pasture raised to be on a carton of an egg that was raised in a barn, but the hens have access to outside. So doors open on a barn. Hens can go outside and they can get pasture if they want. But you can imagine if you have thousands and thousands of hens in a barn, what the pasture probably looks like around that barn, right? Probably looks 10 times worse than this, and eventually no grass.
So essentially it can be pasture raised and it's just a dirt field. There's no nutrition out there. There's nothing. It's, hey, we opened a door for them. They can just go mark off and officially can say we have pasture raised.
What is truly best for the egg and for the hen is to be living life on pasture.
But let's step in.
Sure. Hop on over there.
So these things are just pecking away at my shoes.
They're very curious. They think those might be nice seeds or bugs.
Big old seeds to tear apart.
So we do need to supplement their diet. So there isn't enough nutrients in this field with all the bugs and grass and all that. We can add in vitamins, we can add in other minerals that they may need to have the healthiest life we can give them. You can do a lot with this feed. So we can tune the feed for the season.
A lot of egg cartons are saying vegetarian fed.
A chicken is a carnivore.
That's what I was gonna say. Aren't chickens supposed to be eating bugs and all these other things?
A chicken has a very sharp beak so that it can eat a bug. It can dig in the dirt and pull a worm out. So chickens naturally, and these nice sharp claws to peck at the ground. Chickens are omnivores. They have to have a fairly high level of protein. So sadly, vegetarian fed is kind of a misnomer, I think, just to play with us a little bit, to think that my chicken's vegetarian, so it must be getting higher level of nutrients. It's actually false. It's actually opposite. Chickens have to have the proteins and fats and the amino acids from bugs and you know, little worms and stuff. Hens that are in those settings with so many hens packed in a barn, they actually dock the beaks, kind of like a nail clipper, and they take this upper part of her beak off. That's because they'll turn on each other and they'll peck on each other so much.
The pecking order, right?
The pecking order. That happens here too, but we're not packed super tight in a barn where they can actually kill each other. We leave the beak on so they can actually enjoy the pasture like they're supposed to.
This is what a true pasture-raised farm looks like. This is how chickens were meant to live. This is how chickens are meant to be fed. And just like in humans, you need to have a supplemented diet for the nutrition you need. Sounds like it's the same for chickens, that throughout the year at different times, they need their own special diets to ensure the richest quality of eggs.
We can make too many jumbo eggs, which hurts the hen, or we could accidentally produce way too many small eggs, which us egg eaters don't want too many small eggs.
You actually are trying to dictate how big an egg is.
We're trying to make sure we're not getting too many jumbos.
Notice the goose here.
Yeah. So that goose is a male goose. He's also helping protect from hawks and owls. He is the alarm to the hens when there is a hawk or owl flying by. We've even seen him go as far as herding the hens into the coop.
So you basically have a guard dog goose.
We have a guard dog goose, yep.
I actually have a funny story with geese. Got chased by one about a year ago. I went too close to its nest, didn't realize it. Have a funny video of it flying past me. I'll show it in the video. Let's talk about egg yolk color. We see in salmon that farm-raised salmon is much less pink. Wild-caught salmon is very pink just because of the krill and other things they're eating in the ocean. Tell me about the egg yolk color, because I was led to believe it was the same for egg yolks, that the richer, the brighter orange, the deeper yellow means the healthier and more nutrient-dense the egg was. Is that true?
Yes, color is important, but it's not as important as the diet that they're eating. So there's been studies that show how much vitamin E, how much beta carotenes, how much omega-3s are in eggs. And what they found was that the level of those vitamins and nutrients in the yolk have less to do with color than they do diet. The egg yolk does change with what they're eating. It's very easy for us to add ingredients to our feed that would change the yolk color. I can easily add marigold powder. I can very easily add paprika, easily add coloring agents to their feed to darken the yolk color. We've chosen not to, because really there's very little nutrient benefit to the hen to eat marigold powder. Corn in general makes a darker yolk. So across the board, our yolks are lighter color, closer to yellow than orange, than a corn-fed hen.
So unfortunately, we can't tell the quality of an egg strictly just off of the color of the yolk. So if you crack open an egg and you see a really bright yolk, you can assume, but really the only way you know is knowing where the egg comes from, knowing the farmer, knowing how the chickens are being treated. Is there really a way though, outside of that, just from cracking an egg to tell?
What we've learned is it's mostly the yolk density.
The yolk density.
These are eggs that were laid today. So we gathered all the eggs yesterday. It's the density of the white. See how thick that white is?
It's super thick.
So
you can see
there's kind of two white membranes, right? There's this really dense one around the yolk. You see that?
Yeah.
That membrane, how dense that membrane is and how dense this yolk is, right? So I can play with this yolk and it's not breaking, right? So the density of the yolk and the density of that first white membrane around it is more indicative of nutrient density and quality of an egg than it is straight yolk color. So we had that yolk. Let's see if this yolk's any different color. Might not be. That's pretty similar. But two different hens can produce a slightly different color yolk.
Yeah, but once again, you can see the density.
Look at how tall that yolk is.
Yeah, look at that. Amazing. I mean, that's crazy.
So that's more indicative of quality and nutrient density.
Look at that. Literally just rolls around in my hand. I'm definitely gonna have to try this with a normal egg.
I had to test this, so I went home and cracked open a cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised egg. At the first angle, I could already tell how much higher the peak of the pasture-raised egg was. The second angle showed this even better. You can also see a difference with the thickness in the albumin, with the cage-free being thin, free-range somewhere in the middle, and pasture-raised being the thickest of them all.
We actually have nipple drinkers through each coop.
Oh,
that's what this
right
is.
Here,
this is what this is tied to. Yep. They can drink from this water. Those red nipples. They know how to peck it, like she is. She gets
kind
a
of
little
like
drink
a
of water.
hamster licking the little spout.
Exactly.
They've learned to peck here and drink.
Yep. So they can drink while they're in the shade, while they're resting in the shade. They also can drink in the morning and night after they're locked inside. So these girls are either lining up to come in or they just left. They want to lay an egg in a nice private location. So these girls are getting ready to lay eggs, or they just laid eggs, and so they want a nice private spot to do that. So they go behind.
That one actually pushing an egg. Yep, that one just pushed an egg out right there.
Oh yeah.
I was that chicken stepped right in front, but
right
it
there.
just.
So that's a fresh egg right there.
And how many eggs are chickens producing in, we'll say, a week?
This breed of hens can lay about 300 to 320 a year.
One a day.
It's about one a day. Yeah. Different hens have different body sizes and body weights. So the bigger the hen, the more feed it eats. This breed has seemed to do better on our hot summer days, as well as produce a good number of eggs per day.
So certain hens are more made to lay eggs
Exactly.
in heat or different areas.
If you have
possibly.
a farm in Minnesota versus Texas, you might choose a different breed of hen.
And are these meat chickens as
no,
well? Just strictly?
These are strictly egg hens. There's just not a lot of meat on them. You know, they're just nice light hens that produce a nice big egg. So if you were hungry for chicken, you wouldn't find a whole lot of meat on this hen.
If you just left this egg here, is it going to grow into another chicken?
Great
or
question.
How does that work?
We do not have any roosters here at all. We don't have any male chickens, so none of our eggs are fertilized.
If you just left that egg, it's never going to
produce a baby chicken.
It's just an egg.
Just an egg, yeah.
You're not going to crack open an egg and see a partially developed chicken.
Not from this farm. Nope.
Not from this farm. Chuck's going to go show us how they collect eggs and kind of that whole process. Let's go see what we're looking at here.
The biggest daily chore we have is gathering eggs. We gather once a day. If it gets really hot, we'll gather twice a day. But what we do when we come out here and gather eggs is we separate the eggs that we think are perfectly ready to sell. So these eggs are extremely clean, right? That one just has a little bit of dirt because it's been raining probably.
So this one right here, would this qualify with some smudging on it? Probably wash it?
Yep, I would like to wash that egg. So we set that aside over here and we'll actually wash that egg and we'll send that direct to refrigeration.
Other parts of the world, they don't refrigerate eggs.
Correct.
You just leave them on the counter. These eggs, the way they are right now, do I need to refrigerate them or could I just leave them on the counter?
So you just saw this egg come out, right? It was very wet when it rolled out. It's drying fairly quickly. That liquid is called plume, and that is a liquid that the hen puts on that's a natural preservative. That preserves the egg. So in other countries, they do not wash that off. We're separating these eggs from eggs that we think are ready to sell and ready to eat and eggs that really need to be washed. In this basket, these eggs won't be washed.
And I could just leave them on my counter?
You could just leave them on the counter.
And how long will they last just sitting on my counter?
To be conservative, I say 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. We can leave eggs on the counter.
If you keep them out of the sun, and if your house isn't 110 degrees.
4 to 6 weeks, an egg will stay good on your counter.
In normal house conditions.
Because of the plume,
because
that is a natural preservative
because of that
eggs.
natural liquid that hen just put on that egg.
Do all American eggs need to be refrigerated really just because they're from these massive farms that just send them in the washer regardless whether they're clean or not, strips the plume off, and then they need to go in the fridge?
You basically covered it. To have a mechanized industrial process, it's just easier to wash all the eggs that come out of a barn. Every single egg gets washed. It's just a blanket, we'll wash all eggs.
It's
Sadly,
more of an efficiency process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of separating the eggs, everyone needs to be washed. Now, sadly, everyone needs to be refrigerated, and sadly, every egg has a shorter shelf life. I'd love to show you our egg cartons.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is our egg carton. That's an empty one. This one's a full one. These are unwashed eggs. You can see they're not perfect, but in your opinion, would you say those are clean enough to have on your counter?
100%.
Awesome. Egg cartons are regulated by either your state or the federal government. There's certain things that have to be on an egg carton. From every egg carton, you have to be able to find the farm. This is our farm address. From our egg carton, you could come find your chicken that laid your egg, right?
Any egg carton you look at will have the farm's address on it.
It will have the company's address. I don't know if the egg carton can lead you to the farm. With some
but
quick
it
Googling,
has to have an address
yes,
of okay.
at least the person selling the egg. If you get sick from an egg, you can always track it back to who made you sick. Also have to have a phone number, so you could always call me from the carton. Because we sell eggs to wholesalers, we sell it to somebody else who's then gonna sell it to the person eating the egg. We have to have a Texas egg license number. So this,
every state has their own different licensing process.
And departments that manage that. We also have to have the safe egg handling instructions. Whether you follow them or not, that's up to you. And then we have to say how many eggs are in a carton. In my mind, it's kind of silly, but you have to know how many eggs are in the carton. And then there's the size and the grade. So every egg carton has to have a grade and a size. Those are two separate things.
How do you get graded? Like, what's that whole process with grading?
Egg grading is age. As an egg ages, it dehydrates.
Age of the egg or age of the chicken?
Age of the egg. So how old is the egg and how much of the inner components, the white and the yolk, how much of that has dehydrated. It also has to do with the number of cracked eggs per dozen or per case. So we have to have how many, we have to grade them, and we have to have a size. Egg size is by weight. They actually weigh the cart, not the individual egg.
We know you wash them and then they're just straight to store. Eggs are pretty self-explanatory. There's not a ton of processing that goes on. Do you have to have an actual state official come out here and check you once, twice a year, run through, check your hen's health? Like, is that all regulated, or is that something that they don't really take a part in? And is it fairly easy, like most people can get away with a lot of things they probably shouldn't be getting away with?
They do surprise checks. What they're focused on is the packaging and the storage of the egg. So they don't really care how healthy the hens are. They don't really care what the environment they're in. They care more about how are you handling the eggs after they've been laid.
Proper storage procedures.
Yeah, proper procedure. Every carton that ends up in a store or a retailer has a number on the end, which is the sell-by date.
Just pointing something out here, I see a lot of organic eggs. Just because an egg is considered organic does not mean it is better for you. Definitely not better for you than the way chickens should be raised and the way chickens should be treated as far as the egg quality.
The studies show that the highest nutrient density in an egg comes from hens that live on pasture.
Now let's head over and have Chuck show us the process it takes to truly be classified as pasture-raised eggs.
The fencing looks like it can move. What's going on with this?
Everything about our operation is movable. So the nets move, the coops move, the feeders move, the waters move, everything's movable. And that allows us to rotate the chickens on our pasture, let the grass regrow so that they have actually pasture to graze, but also the nets protect them from all the ground predators. So one of the challenges with pasture-raised hens is that they're not in a barn protected from the coyotes and the neighbor dogs and the raccoons and possums. So this net is electric. I've turned it off for demonstration purposes.
You should have just left it on. Let me touch it. That would have been really funny.
Really test it. So if an animal or a person touches this, they get a little shock. They turn around and don't come after our chickens.
I was raised to believe the electric fence was made to keep the animals in. In this case, is it more so to keep animals out?
It's more so to keep them out. But for the most part, this net is here to protect them from predators.
I can see back there, if we want to walk back there real quick just to look at this.
Show the difference. The coop was here yesterday in the 30-foot span here. This morning, before we let them out, I moved them 30 feet that way. So now they are on fresh grass. The coop is on fresh grass, and it will stay there till tomorrow when we move it again. And this will allow this grass to regrow. We'll let that manure, dissipate into the soil and into the grass and fertilize all the grass. And that will spring back up, and it will look like it looks over there in a few weeks.
It looks like this right here. And you just move it on here, and
they actually eat a lot of grass. You can kind of see how short that grass is compared to what's in front of them.
Yeah.
And consuming that grass is what gives them the natural omega-3s that are in grass, as well as the other vitamins and minerals that are in grass. To truly pasture-raised hens, to raise pasture-raised eggs, have to consume grass.
Over the next few minutes, enjoy the process of Chuck and I moving the nets to introduce the chickens to fresh new pasture.
So I'm just gonna lay this out, and then we're gonna stand it up.
So all this grass right here, all this long grass is just left here. They don't mow it down, they just leave it, move the chickens into this area, and then the chickens just tear all this up over the next day or two, and it turns into the flat grass right over there that we see.
Okay, now I'll just stand it up quick.
Oh, like pull it tight like that?
Yep. Just walk it back. Off to the races. Here they come.
They're so excited to run out here and see the new grass. They're pecking like crazy.
Yep, racing to see who gets a big bug or grasshopper or...
To close out the video, let's hear from Chuck about his motivation for having a farm and providing the best eggs that he can.
I mean, what makes you want to grow eggs in this way, have hens this way? What's your motivation behind all this? You talked a little bit about it earlier, but I'd love to hear more about that.
Sure. I've got 3 growing kids, and I want them to eat the best food they can that doesn't have hormones and doesn't have herbicides and pesticides and everything in it. That's a fake egg that teaches the hens where to lay their egg. That's a wooden egg that needs to be reassembled.
Fake egg. I would have grabbed that and been like, whoa, a chicken laid an egg with the screw in it. What
that
the
helps
heck?
That helps train them to know where to lay their eggs. So these hens are moved fast enough so that they improve the pastures they're on, not hurt the pasture. So we've seen a lot of tremendous progress in our soil health and our forage health. Really what it comes down to is the nutrient level of our food is only as healthy as our soils and our grasses. And in the case of chickens, also the supplemental feed that we add to their diet. It's regenerative agriculture because we're giving back more to the land than we're taking from it. And I want my family to eat all of my products. So especially once you get kids, you're like, okay, but what's the best that I can feed them? What's the best that I can produce? So I think just that desire to steward the land the best we can, as well as steward the animals that we manage the best we can. Feed our kids the best we can. It all comes together in this. And I truly think that this is the best egg I know how to produce at this moment.
This is just an overall amazing place, and what you're doing here is awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That is everything you'd ever need to know about eggs. It was amazing to be here today at Prairie Farmstead with Chuck and to see what him and his family have been able to produce here. The health of the chickens, just the health of the whole ecosystem is amazing. And we see how important it is that the eggs we're buying are coming from well-fed, properly fed, pasture-raised, and why that's all so important. If I missed any questions you have about eggs that you would love to ask Chuck, leave them in the comments below. Sure. I will leave Chuck's farm link and links to their socials and their website down in the comments, so check them out. They're here in North Texas. If you live in the area, highly recommend. I've seen it all. It is officially approved. Buy your eggs from here. See you in the next episode.